It is Tuesday, June 14th, 2022. This is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by our friends over at Shady Rays. Not only the best looking shades in the business, but when you lose them, when you break them, they will replace them. It's a great little motto. Speaking of great, I am joined as always by my man T. Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. It is good to see. Yeah, you already look like well coiffed. You got the haircut yesterday. Looks like you've already showered. I mean, you're so well put together for this time of day.
I appreciate that. But by the time we do this, Chris, I've been telling you, I've already been up for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Not by choice sometimes. I got these birds, dude, these freaking birds outside my window. They got a nest. They just wake me up.
Oh, the little
Sick of
chirping
it.
at 5 a.m. Yeah, it's so cute. It's nature.
I let them do it. Like we have all these, they're like these little things, dude. I let them do it because they are cute. I've seen all the little chicks like jump off and start flying for the first time. So there is like some benefit to having them there, but they also are quite an annoying alarm clock for me.
Sorry about that. Speaking
That's
of
okay.
cute, I'm wearing the Hudson Valley Renegades, their alternate hat, which is very, very cool. I'll put out the 3-pack of hats that they sent out, and we'll put a link in the description. Okay, Dan, let's do that today.
Is that a raccoon?
It looks like it. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's pretty damn hot. I got to tell you, man. This hat on your head, whoa, that's a combination. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of hot, we'll start our show out in the Valley of the Sun. The Cincinnati Reds got a win out in Arizona last night, but that was only the second coolest thing involving a member of the Cincinnati Reds. How about this cute little girl who said, "Hey, Joey Votto, will you make a TikTok with me?" And so what does Votto do? Being one of the great ambassadors of baseball, he walks over there and he says, "Heck yeah, let's do this thing." They start working on their dance, and we saw the TikTok come to fruition. Joey's a bad man, isn't he?
Yes. That, Chris, I know you're a little old. That's called the gritty. Justin Jefferson doing it in the NFL. You knew that?
Yo, bro, don't tell me about that. I did the gritty Justin Jefferson's rookie year on my NFL highlights show. It was the worst thing ever, but I've been doing the gritty since day one. Stop.
Oh, my bad, dude. Is it better than Joey's?
I had limited space where I could go, so I don't know. I'd have to go find it and take a look at it, maybe. But
I think just let other people do the gritty. That's from now on.
Yeah,
that's the rule.
Yeah. Although Votto's was excellent because he was doing it with the adorable little girl. Very cool.
No, he's been so good on social media, and I think the main thing I like is he interacts with the fans. It's not just like him doing stuff like he's doing scavenger hunts with bats. He's doing stuff like this, one-on-one with fans. I think it's just a really cool thing for him.
And very quickly before we move on, there's a lot of people in baseball that when things aren't going great for your team or for you, or in the case of Votto, both for the most part this season, some people would look at you in the clubhouse and be like, "Really, Joey?" But he's got such good standing. He is the man in that clubhouse. What are you going to say to Joey Votto? And good for him that he's not letting a mediocre individual and a poor team season drag him down to the point where he understands, like, I could still go out and have fun with the fans. If they are taking their time to make signs, I'm going to go give them a moment.
100%. As long as you're putting in the work, you should be able to do this stuff on the side.
Yep.
Whenever it is during the season, a high point, a low point, as long as you're putting in work, as we know Joey does, you should be able to do this stuff. And it used to be frowned on, but I think teams and everyone's more accepting of it now, understanding, just what it does. The relationship between a player and fans just brings it that much closer.
All right, let's get to some on the field stuff. The Atlanta Braves with a opening series win in Washington. So they tie a divisional era record with a 12th straight win. But is that bigger news than them losing their second baseman, Ozzie Albies, for at least 6 to 8 weeks with a broken bone in his left foot?
I think the winning streak is bigger news. Obviously, they hate to lose Ozzie. His overall numbers aren't great, but, along with the team, like he was getting hot. I believe he had either a 7-game hit streak or an on-base streak with some homers wrapped up in it. So it's a big blow to them, but I believe that winning those games, getting back in the hunt for the division is more important. And obviously last year they showed they can get by without one of their stars. And that's exactly what Ozzie is. He's a star. Like I said, the numbers might not be there now. At the end of the year, they're going to be there. And he's a big energy guy for them. So I really hope I don't know how much this happens anymore, but I really hope he travels with the team and is around the team. I think they want that. I think they like his energy. He's going to have to rehab it, but a broken foot's, what can you do for it? So hopefully he's around the team because they're going to miss his energy the most. But getting back in this race, they're only 5 games back with the Mets now. That's very, very important to all the team.
Yeah, and they're just a couple of percentage points behind the San Francisco Giants for the second wild card spot right now. A lot of interesting teams that are on their tail. I think they're going to miss him a little bit. I really do. I think they're going to miss his spirit. They're going to miss his smile. They're going to miss his energy. I know they got a lot of that back when Acuna came back. And then, of course, you tack on the talent gap between the two. That's nothing against Ozzie Albies, but Ronald Acuna is one of the, 3 to 5 best players in the sport. But Albies does provide a lot for them, right? Has some pop. I know his OPS is under 700 this year, but it's down league wide. And I like the energy with which he plays. It's just a big thing for me. Orlando Arcia is a fine player. He should be able to hold the fort down. Sounds like Gonsolin's going to come up. Goslin, sorry, not Tony Gonsolin. I didn't trade him.
Phil Gosselin's coming up.
It sounds like that's where they're going.
Okay, I like Phil. Nice guy.
So, did you play with him somewhere?
We were in Philly together, Philly camp, AAA together. He had some really good spring trainings and some good minor league seasons with them while I was there. Some other options I saw, they have Pat Valleca, Mortal Kombat Pat, as I like to call him down there, Ryan Goins. So they have some internal options. It'll be interesting to see if AA goes out and does something. But I agree. They're going to miss him. And like I said, hopefully they allow him to travel with the team just to keep the energy around.
Let me throw one name at you if you're going to trade. Whit Merrifield.
I love it.
Because
he would fit perfect in there.
That way you can play him at second base for as long as Albies is hurt, and then you move him to the outfield.
Whit Merrifield and Dansby Swanson up the middle. Would anybody say anything to either? Like they just wouldn't even talk to each other. They're so stoic, both of those guys.
It seems that way. Interesting. Just something interesting as we go. All right, speaking of interesting, which one is a more interesting series that kicks off on Tuesday? Rays at Yankees, Angels at Dodgers.
I love me some freeway series. In fact, I'm going to the game today. You're still up in the air about it. So if you see me at Dodger Stadium today, come say what's up. But I'm going with the Rays Yanks just because it's interdivision. It's the same league. So this matters. If the Rays want to get back in this division race at all, now is the time to go. They need to beat the Yankees heads up. And I think they play them 6 times over the next 9 days. So This is big for them. They've dug themselves a really big hole. What are they back right now? They're back 9 games.
Well, okay, let's be fair here. They have not dug themselves a hole. Let's give the Yankees the credit. The Yankees have climbed a mountain. It's like the Rays are 10 games over 500.
I agree. That you're totally right with that. Bad choice of words, but the Rays need to go now. And they want the division. They know how important it is. They're back-to-back defending AL East champs. Okay, so they want the division. They understand now's the go time. So basically, for that simple reason, other than also the pitching matchups are badass, like Kluber, Cole. And then you got the lefties. We talk about Nestor so much. McClanahan's down there with a better ERA and more wins.
And more strikeouts. He's been
this guy he's been incredible. So I like the pitching matchups. I like the interdivision. I like the fact that have they played yet this year?
Yeah, they have. They split a 4-game set. I think the Yankees took the first 2 in Tampa, and then the Rays took the last 2.
Yeah, it hasn't been a lot. No,
it's just been that one series.
These next 9 days are gonna be a lot of fun for both sides too, because the Yankees, they want to prove that they're legit. They're the real deal. We're going to continue to have this division lead. We're going to maybe even add on to it. And the Rays man, this is our division until you take it from us.
You know what? I think it's actually a big couple weeks for the New York Yankees. It's interesting because there's only 2 teams in the sport that have at least 40 wins, and it's the 2 New York teams. And I saw side by side yesterday in terms of the number of games played against winning teams. The Mets have a lot more than the Yankees. Now, I'm not here to blast the Yankees at all because the schedule's the schedule. They have won more games than anybody else have. And so that's all you can do. You can only play the team. It's not like they sit there and they book a homecoming game. They got the schedule. They go out and
This
they
isn't
kicked
Notre
everybody's
Dame
ass.
football. This isn't Notre Dame football.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Don't say that too loudly because you'll get hit on by the Golden Domers. That could be rough for you.
Fight on.
But this is a nice little stretch for the Yankees where they have a chance to kind of put their foot down and say, hey, enough of this shit. Like, we have been great because we've been great. It's not because of the schedule. Like, we've got, you mentioned 6 against Tampa coming up over the next week and a half. The sandwich series there is Toronto. They have a series with Houston coming up. So there you go. And if the Yankees end up going, let's say they're playing 14 games there and they end up going 4-10, well, then there's a problem that we can talk about. But if they go 7-7, like I said, I don't even know if it's 14 games against those 3 teams. I doubt it is, but whatever it is, you understand what my point is.
This is going to be a really fun part for them. They have the Rays series. You mentioned the Toronto series. They have 5 games against Houston coming up too. I think they have a makeup game back in Houston because there's only a 1-game thing. So I think they have to travel there, play 1 game in Houston. So that's
I think it's because of the quirky late start to the schedule. Remember,
this is a scheduled 1-gamer in Houston.
Well, we had that earlier this year where San Francisco had a stop in Milwaukee for 1 game. They were like in Philly one night or Washington one day, Milwaukee one day, and then they had to go to the Bay Area the next. So they were in 3 cities across the country in 48 hours. It was nuts.
Yeah, it's looking like they'll be at home against Oakland, fly into Houston for 1 day, off day, go to Cleveland to play your Guardians.
Oh, okay, great. I'm sure we won't be talking about that since nothing interesting happened in that first Cleveland, New York series. I do want to mention one thing about the Freeway series in Los Angeles. The Dodgers woke up and they look at the standings. They're like, oh my God, there's somebody sitting right next to us. The San Diego Padres, after Yu Darvish, went through a tornado and won a series opener in Chicago. So, hey, Dodgers, you best start picking it up a little bit. Remember, their last homestand was terrible. Got swept by the Pirates. Didn't have a good weekend series. And after that, I think they went 2-5 during a recent homestand. See if they pick it up.
Today's a really good matchup. It's Thor versus Gonsolin, I believe. So that's just 2 absolute studs. Different. Thor doesn't have cats. There's no way, right? Tony Gonsolin is Mr. Cat.
Thor is definitely not a cat guy. No way. No way. All right. Cards. They now lead the Brewers by a game in the Central. Is it simply that the Cards are really better than Milwaukee? Or just wait until the Brew Crew gets healthy?
I think right now the Cardinals are a better constructed team than the Brewers.
Than your World Series pick?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. I mean, look, this is why rankings preseason are ridiculous. You never know, what the young guys are going to come up and do. You never know what kind of injuries you're going to have. So you just do the best with whatever information. But the Cardinals have been bolstered by some of their young guys. They've come up and done a really, really good job. And it's just added like depth to that roster. Not only that, but some of the guys who are kind of like question marks on the hill have just come out and pitched really, really well. I mean, Michaelis has done great. I don't know if we didn't expect Wainwright to do Wainwright things, but he's doing Wainwright things with it sitting here with a 2.84 right now at 40 years old. Dakota Hudson's been good. You get Flaherty back and now Palante in the rotation. That's like 5 really solid guys. I don't know how long we can pencil Palante into the rotation, but the first start was good for him. So I think the young guys have just lengthened the lineup up there. I'm talking about like Gorman, Yepes, all these guys that have come up and done it. And their rotation's been good. The Brew Crew, I'll take their pitching staff when healthy over the Cardinals still. I believe like the bullpen, the late inning bullpen, high leverage guys are just off the charts for them. But the offense they need to figure something out, make that move that I've been promised.
But yeah, that's the thing. You can't say figure something out. Give me a guess how many Milwaukee Brewers, and I'm talking about anybody that has put on a Brewers uniform this year. So they could have only played 5 games or they could have played 60 games. I don't care. How many of them have an OPS of at least 800?
Maybe 1?
Try 0.
Zero,
there isn't one guy in their roster as an OPS over 800. Meantime,
Rowdy's not there anymore?
Nope. The Cardinals have 4 guys, including Paul Goldschmidt, who's an MVP candidate through a third of the season. Nolan Arenado, who got off to that great start and has slowed down a little bit. But, I mean, it's Like we keep saying, oh, well, the Brewers would be okay. Like, guys, this is now year 4, I think, of their resurgence, if you will, right? They made the playoffs and, everybody wants them to take that next step. And yeah, they were so close a few years ago when they lost Game 7 in the NLCS at home to the Dodgers. But this is a fan base that now it's not just the cute little story anymore. They got to take that next step. Because who knows if they'll be able to keep everybody together. And you mentioned the pitching staff. I'm worried, right? We know about Freddie Peralta is going to be gone for a while. But Brandon Woodruff, did you see now he's got Raynaud's disease? Do you know what that is?
I don't.
Okay. That's when there's a restrictive blood flow to your fingers and your toes. And it only scares me a little bit because I know people who have it and sometimes they can't feel their fingertips.
That's not good.
Hey, if you're a pitcher and you can't feel your fingertips, that is a problem, dude.
Well, hopefully he gets some treatment for that. I don't know what the treatment is for that. That
medication.
Sounds definitely scary for sure. I agree. Like, they need to do something. Their offense has not but they knew that. They knew going into the year, the offense was not going to be a strong point. Okay. They're still relying on Yelly to return to MVP form. He hasn't really done it. He's been a straight up league average hitter this year. So he has to pick it up. Adames has to pick it up. And like, Omar Narvaez has the highest OPS on their team. So yeah, they need to bring some offense. And I'm still a big believer in this team. They've been there, like they understand big games, but without an offensive addition and a really good one, I will take the Cardinals over them right now.
I would too. And let's remember, Jack Flaherty hasn't thrown a pitch for the St. Louis Cardinals all
he's
season
a dog.
long. And I think tomorrow is his last rehab start. So you could see him in the rotation as early as next week. And who knows, they'll ease him in. But 5 innings of Jack Flaherty, if he's okay, look out.
Lorenzo Cain has an OPS plus of 28.
Don't say that.
I'm stating facts right now. I mean, yes, they need help.
They need help. All right. We had a couple of dugout dust-ups, if you will. Lance Lynn, his first start of the year in Detroit, he and Joe McEwing, who's their third base coach, went at it a little bit, back and forth. And then Sandy Alcantara, still haven't figured out how to say his name, even though he's great, because I hear it 18 different ways to Sunday, gets pulled in the 8th inning with 2 outs and was not happy about it. Even though he had thrown 113 pitches, he screams into his glove. He takes it out on the empty water bottles. Which blow up were you more interested in?
I'm more interested in the Joe McEwing Lance Lynn just because I want to know like what that was all about. I mean, Joe has been there forever. My gosh. And he's talked my ear off, obviously playing third base coach. You guys have a relationship, but that one's more interesting to me. But I liked Sandy Alcantara, excuse me. I like that emotion out of him. And I think people misread it a little bit. I don't think he was mad that he got pulled from the game. I think he was mad that he walked 2 guys. I know we got the double play after that, but like he's mad at that. He's mad that he walked 2 guys, got his pitch count up. And I think he knew that he had to get through that inning clean. Hindsight now looks like a bad move because he got DD came up with a hit and then Hoskins walks him off. But I think he was more mad at himself for walking the 2 batters in the 8th inning. If a pitcher does that with his pitch count, he knows that his time is limited there.
Okay. Here's the reason I think he's mad, though. And it's a good point. He did exactly what Don Mattingly wanted him to do. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. He got a ground ball by JT Realmuto. He got a ground ball double play. So now you're telling me you're not going to let Sandy face Didi Gregorius? You're going to let Steven Okert? That's who you're going to – really? That's where we're going?
I saw some stats on it. I know that after the game, I believe Mattingly said it was the bullpen knew 4th batter was the guy who came in's batter no matter what. Okert, yeah. He said no matter what, the bullpen knew that. And then Didi hadn't had a hit off a lefty since a long time, like May or something. So like there was an idea. They had a plan there. It didn't work out, obviously. And I'm happy Sandy was fired up about it. But I saw a stat. He's thrown more pitches and more innings than any other pitcher in baseball. I know they already signed him to the deal, but like you want to keep this guy healthy too. I like the fire
one
there.
more batter's going to push it over the edge.
I don't know.
One
just
more batter.
That is it. That's one of the decisions that a manager does actually have to make during a game. It's you watch. It's not necessarily pitch count they're looking at, although that's a big part of it. It's laborious pitches. You know what kind of stress you've been in during the game. Yeah, that's a word, right? I think.
Yes, it absolutely is. I'm digging it.
But like I'm saying, bro, you walk two guys to start the inning off. You know that even if you get the double play, like there's a chance you're going to come out for that batter. So I think Sandy was just more mad at himself right there, and maybe Don a little bit. I don't know.
So you know what? The Marlins are the team. Like there's that line in Jerry Maguire by Renee Zellweger. If you ever watch the old time Tom Cruise movie about him being a sports agent,
God, that's
when she falls in love with him. Well, it is. It's like mid-90s now.
I know.
And she goes, he's almost the man I wish he could be, or something like that. Like the Marlins are almost the team I want them to be. They're so close, but it's like every little move drives me nuts. And I'm just like a borderline Marlins, jock sniffer, because Miguel Rojas is obviously a big part of our family. So I want them to be in it. I want them to do well. And they do. They might not have the loudest fan base out there, the most populous fan base, but when they speak, I will listen. And I was flipping through social media, and we came against this guy, loud Marlins fan, who gave us this spiel.
I don't want to hear Don Mattingly say, oh, if this was the playoffs, I would have let Sandy stay in. He was at 100 and so pitches. Well, let me tell you something, dumb Mattingly. This is your playoffs. Division games on the road, you have the lead. Leave your damn ace in to either get out of his own inning or give up his own run. Respect. You have 0 and you suck.
Okay. If you're audio only today, please go find just this part of the discussion on our YouTube channel so you can see what Homeboy looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it. I like the whole that's his rally hat, maybe not just a regular hat that he always wears. That could be it also.
Might wear it to the grocery store. You never know.
I totally get it. If Sandy was mad at Mattingly, I'm fine with that too. The guy's a competitor. After the game, he said, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was like, I'm not usually like this. This is the first time I've done it. And I want to be better next time. I know I'll have more opportunities to be better. So he's got such a great mindset. I love watching this dude pitch. He was on fire all game too.
He's on
making that slider is so disgusting.
So filthy.
It just comes out like a heater. Guys flail at it because it just dots last second.
I can only imagine what he looks like on the mound too, because he's like 6'6" and just
too tall.
His limbs are
his arms are too long. What's up with this guy?
All right, last thing. Well, there are some people, some Mets fans that are saying, what's up with this guy for Chris Rock, who was in St. Louis. He performed there the other night. He stuck around for a Cardinals game and was seen wearing a Cardinals hat. Do you have a problem with said Mets fan wearing a Cardinals lid, or is that just business being business?
Yeah, does he have a show in St. Louis or
He did. He had one, I think, the previous night, maybe.
Maybe they showed him a really good time in St. Louis and he was just feeling the city. I don't know. I'm not sure. So it's him and Seinfeld. Seinfeld. Yeah. They're always at games together, right?
Yes.
There's different levels of fandom. I don't know. Does he consider himself a diehard fan? I'm not so sure. And if you are a diehard fan, you want to be able to weed the non-diehards out anyway. So I think it's like a win-win thing here. I have no problem with this whatsoever. He's just going to a game. He's experiencing the ballpark, as a St. Louis citizen, kind of. But he's a Mets fan. We all know that. He's just taking one day off. I think it's okay.
One day off. Okay. Well, I don't.
God, I'm going to get crushed for that one, huh?
Yeah, I just don't. I don't dig it. I think he should always be traveling with a Mets hat.
And I hate that more than anything, though. If you go to a game, a baseball game, and it's of a different team, just don't wear a hat then. Don't wear your team's hat to if he wore a Mets hat to a game that didn't feature the Mets, I laugh at him.
Okay, then that I can. That's fine with me. But you don't have to wear a Cardinals hat. And
was he wearing it all game?
So people will rip on me because I wear different hats every day. I wear the hats because it's the topics that we're talking about or the guests that I'm interviewing. Okay. So there is a difference here. It does not change
so
my
it's for
fandom.
work.
Yes, but I am not going. I would never wear a Yankees hat in Yankee Stadium. I would never wear a White Sox hat in Chicago.
Did you ever wear a Guardians hat at Yankee Stadium when they weren't playing?
I probably. Oh, I have worn I've worn Guardians gear, Cleveland gear, I guess at the time in Los Angeles at Dodger games. I've gone to some games up in Oakland, Anaheim. I've done all that. The only time I did wear other gear was when I sang for the 7th inning stretch in Chicago. I did wear a Cubs hat and I think a Cubs jersey that they gave us. And people were killing me. Chris Russo, a guy on my own network at the time, was like, Rose, what are you doing? He's like, they just beat you in the World Series.
Wait, is this Mad Dog?
Yeah, Mad Dog.
Oh, well, that's just his thing, bro. I don't even think he was on you. That's just like him.
He also saw me taking BP one day from one of those ballpark cams at Fenway. And the joke was when Millar and I would do that, I would always wear extra small stuff. He'd always get me, so it looked horrible. And he's like, geez, Rose, mix in a salad. He said it live on TV. I was like, wow.
Doggy. Well, he's a nice guy.
Oh, he is actually. I love Doggy.
Well, he doesn't like
I really
me,
do.
Okay, so
he doesn't like you?
No, we're never going to be friends.
I bet you we can make that happen. We'll see if they can make that happen.
He's talked crap about me, Chris.
That's
fine. I hold grudges.
Just talk crap about me. There it is. There's the one where I wouldn't give Millar the microphone because there's only one microphone to sing for the 7th inning stretch, so you have to arm wrestle for it.
I just see visions of me and you doing that one day.
Perhaps. Okay, quickly, what do you have on John Boy?
We're recording our midweek episode later today. The Monday recap came out yesterday. It was our 500th episode. Very proud of that. We crushed it. Jimmy even got a little high because he promised the fans he would. Just a little.
Wow.
So he's kind of silly. What do you got, man?
We're going to have to cut today's AMP episode a little bit short because Alek Manoah will be joining us.
Wow.
Yeah, he just pitched last night. Fun dude. It's going to be
Will you
fun.
tell him I've always believed in him since the first time I saw him pitch at Yankee Stadium? I said, that's a dude. That's a guy. Make sure you tell him that.
I will. I don't think you're alone. So we taped Stephen Brault yesterday. He was great. I'm trying to figure out if I want to flip the episodes because Manoah pitches this weekend in New York, and I want to ask him about that. So we might end up flipping those episodes. So we'll see. We'll see. I am off the next 2 days. I have some NFL duties I have to take care of, but I want to thank the crew from Shea Station. Jerry Blevins will be in this chair tomorrow. Jolly Olive will be in the chair on Thursday, and then we don't have a show on Friday because we're both doing business for John Boy up on the East Coast, which I'm sure you're going to hear a ton about. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I will see everybody next Monday, but make sure you tune in every day to Baseball Today here on the AMP app or wherever you download your podcast or our YouTube channel. Special shout out to our producer extraordinaire, the one and only Dan Rourke. That is Trevor Plouffe. I'm Chris Rose. We'll see you Wednesday on Baseball Today.